සුබ දවසක් විමැක් ස්පෝර්ට්ස් වලට බොයිතා සාදරයෙන් පිළිගන්නවා. ඉතින් අද දවසේදී අපි ඔබත් එක්ක බෙදාගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ අපිට ලැබුණු අමුතුම විදිහේ අත්දැකීමක්. ඉතින් අද අපි මේ ඔබට හඳුන්වලා දෙන්න හදන ක්‍රීඩකයා අපිට හමු වෙන්නේ මේ channel එකේ කමෙන්ට්ස් හරහා. ඉතින් මේ channel එකේ කමෙන්ට්ස් හරහා අපිට එක එක විදිහේ කමෙන්ට්ස් වෙනවා. සමහරවිට අපි කතා කරත් අපිට මුල්ම කාලේ අපේ channel එක පටන් ගත්ත විතරයි අපි ගොඩක් වීඩියෝස් කළේ ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින්. එතකොට ආව රික්වෙස්ට් එක තමයි සිංහලෙන් වීඩියෝස් කරන්න කියලා. ඉතින් සිංහලෙන් කරන්න පටන් ගත්තාට විශේෂයෙන්ම වෙනත් ජාතිකයන්ගේ බංග්ලාදේශ, ඉන්දියා, පාකිස්තාන් ඒ වගේ ජාතිකයන්ගෙන් කමෙන්ට්ස් වලට තිබ්බා ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් කරන්න කියලා. ඉතින් මෙහෙම අපිට කමෙන්ට් කරපු එක්තරා පුද්ගලයෙක් එක අපි වැඩිදුරටත් කතා කළා. ඉතින් මේ පුද්ගලයා කවුද කියලා ඔයාලට අපි අද හඳුන්වලා දෙන්න හදන්නේ. ඉතින් ඊට කලින් කියන්න ඕනි මේ ක්‍රීඩකයා ජාත්‍යන්තර මට්ටමේ ක්‍රීඩා කරලා තිනවා. ඔහුගේ ප්‍රථම තරඟේ ඔහු ක්‍රීඩා කරලා තියෙන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට එරෙහිව. එහෙනම් අපි බලමු කවුද මේ ක්‍රීඩකයා.
Hi everyone, so welcome to VMAX Sports. Today we thought of doing a very special interview. I mean, this interview is with a very special person. He is not a Sri Lankan cricketer, but he was a cricketer. He was an international cricketer. He was a UAE international cricketer. And the story that I met him, I mean, it's a very nice story. This is the beauty of sports. Sports bring people together, like to me. And then we built up a conversation there. And then I got to know that he is a great cricket lover. He's a great cricket follower as well. And then, you know, that's how people can engage. You can comment on our YouTube as well, and you can come forward and we can have a nice conversation. So that's our main motive as well, to identify people and to talk with people. So this is a wonderful gentleman that we found out, and you know, he loves the game so much. He loves Sri Lanka cricket so much, and there's a very good story behind him as well. So let's talk with him. Welcome to the show, Alawi.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction as well.
Okay, so let's start. I think you started cricket from a very young age, and
Yes.
Can we talk about your childhood and how you started the game? Who taught you the game? That would be a very interesting thing.
Sure. So, I think like a lot of kids growing up in the Middle East, nationals, their fathers, born in 1990s, their fathers were businessmen. You know, my father was a petroleum engineer, just happened to be an oil guy in Dubai, traveling a lot. So we had a lot of houses had nannies. I had a nanny who's, I don't call her a nanny, she is my second mother. So I'm lucky to have two mothers. So she comes from a small village in Kurnegla called Hiripitia. So she's been with me ever since before I was born, and she raised me. And that's how I picked up the game. I picked up the game, I think like any other kid. The only difference, I was a UAE national, not a Sri Lankan. My father was abroad. There was a 96 final where Arjuna and Aravinda were batting, and I was watching it with her. So I could remember it very well. I was just 6 at that time. But ever since that, I had the passion, and I had the passion for the game. And a bit different about me, I've got no background about any Indian or Pakistani mother of that sort. I'm a pure UAE national, or as you call it, an Arab. Thank you. So I picked the game straight away, yeah. So that's how I did it. I just picked up the game from her and loved it ever since. And then the more details to it, you know, I've been so outdated of interviews. I haven't done any interviews, I think, for 12, 13 years. I've come out completely of the game. I'm quite prominent in my own country, in UAE, in the cricket fraternity at least. There was a tour, 99, where I said I want to start touring. So my father used to travel a lot. There was a South African tour. It was 99, I think, just after the World Cup, or just before the World Cup. We went to South Africa to watch. I just accompanied them. There was one white young, I was very white at that time when I was small, carrying the Sri Lankan flag. So I think I picked out in the cameras as well. And we shared rooms with the same Sri Lankan team, so I got to meet them, and there we had a good bond. We had a good bond with Murali, Sanat, the golden era, I call it, with Aravinda and Sangha. Mahela, I think, just entered the team. Sangha just entered the team as well at that time, or next series. And then, as you know, Sri Lanka toured a lot to Sharjah, so I used to always be there in the Sharjah games, and that's how we got very close with the Sri Lankan cricketers.
So, Alawi, so you spoke about the South African tour. I think your father took you to South Africa. It's quite incredible. Like at a very young age, you fall in love with Sri Lanka cricket, and all of a sudden they play in South Africa, and off you go. In like a very short period of time. And during this tour, you said you got very close to Sri Lankan team as well. And there, as I know, you had a Sri Lankan flag. Was signed by the entire Sri Lankan team. Can you talk us through that incident?
So, I'm not sure how you picked that out, because I really forgot about that. So, as I said, we were in the same hotel, and I think they put me on the TV there. I think it was Murali or somebody. Our father is very famous, well known in South Africa, because all our businesses are there. They told us the players are here. Do you want to meet them? We'll speak. Murali was very kind enough, and he took the whole trip. He introduced me to everyone, and the bond came. So every time after that, I got it signed. A huge flag I was carrying. I can't remember. It was 3-4 meters. So that flag was very famous, because every tour to Sharjah, I used to keep on the VIP box. I would take the whole box and keep this flag. So I think I was the Percy of Sharjah for Sri Lanka. I used to be very famous, and at that time, Sharjah was playing against Pakistan. So you had this small ground of 20,000. I think 19,000 fans were Pakistanis, and you only had 1,000 Sri Lankan fans. So I had to do all the noise there. But it was very good. Yeah, that's how this flag came famous, because it was there for 3-4 years. Watching them, and I always used to bring this flag. So I think it was just a kid's dream. You just supported a team. I had more bond than just the players or the game. I started loving the country. Hence, it was an extra passion.
All right. And with that, like just to touch a little bit on that, I mean, you said Murali was sort of instrumental in getting that done. And this friendship with Murali, I think it continued from that moment onward. And I listened that Murali's coach, I think Mr. Sunil Fernando. He sort of coached you in UAE as well. So Murali was sort of connected you guys as well. So
so when it was a straight bond. So after that, we visited Sri Lanka. We watched the games, and then I was obviously already playing in an academy. Murali did ask, why don't you get the coach down there? Our coach, I think he coached Sangakkara as well, Sunil Fernando. So we said yes. He came in. He really taught me a lot. It was a good 3-week course, and he left, obviously, Sunil, and I continued the game there. And then the game continued, and I played, obviously, in my home country with academies and clubs till I reached to the national team.
And Said, Destiny, you have been a huge fan of Sri Lanka cricket, and then you made your UAE debut against Sri Lanka. So maybe that's a wonderful story as well, wonderful destiny as well.
I remember.
Let's talk about that game as well, how you made your debut and played against your heroes.
Yes, I mean, that game was a bit, it is a different feeling, because here I am, this is your childhood dream. These are the players, obviously, but you can't take away, in the end, I am a UAE national, as much as I love Sri Lanka. So it was a very proud moment for me playing for the country. But at the same time, I still remember very well, Mendes was doing all the magic then. I think we had to get like these telescopes to watch what he bowls. I had 3 balls, and funny enough, Sangha was keeping, and Mahela was at slip. And you're playing for the national team, no one can whisper anything to each other. So we were very serious in that. I could remember playing a debut is a different feeling. I was told, being not only a passionate cricketer for the game, a lover for the game, and I played a lot. So to reach to that at only the age of 18, I was only UAE national who did a debut at his teens. So we don't have, it's very rare here to get nationals playing the game. It's only obviously expats who play. Hence why I was very famous with India. That's a whole different topic, which I will not get into. I was the instrument to do a nationals cricket club. So I don't think the board was too happy, but I formed the club which supported nationals. But yeah, I played that game. Going back to the debut, I was a national I came 4 down or 5 down. We were 160 for 6. Mendes bowled the first ball. I blocked it. Sorry, the first ball I took a single. Blocked it. The second ball I took a single. The other guy took another single. I said, oh my God, I've got 2 more balls to face here. So then the third ball I got out, caught at slip. Yeah, it happened so fast that, it was just, the ball did not spin, but I don't think, coming from UAE, from our cricket, with all due respect to our cricket, I don't think the world faced a lot of bowlers in the initial days of Mendes. You didn't know what he was doing. You would see this analysis back. But when you go in the middle, it's a different story. Not Gaddafi Stadium. Just took the back foot and it nicked to first slip, and Mahela, never dropped catches, I wouldn't want to tease some fans. I wish if it was one of these current players, maybe they would have dropped it. But Mahela would never drop a catch. So he caught it with both hands, and yeah, I was gone. 3 balls. But prior to reaching for the national team, there was a lot of hard work and sweat, which I was very proud of. So it was fitting for me, and it was my last game. I left it, after that.
So you spoke about Ajantha Mendis. I mean, at that time, Ajantha Mendis was bowling really well, and he single-handedly won that final for Sri Lanka. Defending a very average sort of total after Sanjay was putting a great century and all that.
Yes.
But just to focus a little bit on Ajantha Mendis now, at that time, he came out of nowhere and he started bowling these carom balls and all these things. So as a team like UAE, know what to expect. It's going to be very difficult. But then again, you have to somehow prepare for it. What sort of things you all discussed in that dressing room in order especially to face Ajantha Mendis?
With all due respect, it was 2008 when I did my debut. At that time, associate cricket was nothing like now. Hence why I left the game. There was no professionalism in that sense. With all due respect to UAE Cricket or to any other associate cricket, if I may say so. Yes, Kenya did come 2003 World Cup to the semi-finals. There were a few surprises. Ireland came, but cricket for the association was not that big back then. So we prepared, I think, as best as we can. But we did not go into too much detail on how to face Mendes, if you know what I mean. I think the world was confused. So just let alone us associate guys who have no contracts coming in and trying to understand it. So analysis-wise, we didn't do much analysis. We said we'll pick the ball as it comes. It certainly did not work to our favor because I think he picked 4 or 5 wickets in that game, including me. We didn't try to dwell much upon. So even the net bowlers who came from Pakistan at those days, there were no corona or anything. So we had a lot of net bowlers. They were your normal spinners, So I don't think there was a lot to. It's hard to practice if you ask me. At his peak time, when he had the rhythm and he was bowling on the spot. I think you have a guy now playing with domestic league who's apparently similar to Mendes. I can't remember. I don't know.
Tikshana.
Yes. So I've seen him on the Army final. I think so. He played on the Army Finals League recently, on the semi-final. He looks good. I think he lost a bit of weight as well. He looks good, yeah. So yeah. I mean, there's nothing much you can pick, to be honest. From my side, we can't dwell upon. We're not India or Pakistan who faced him probably in a series before. I think India struggled on the final at that time as well.
I mean, I just wanted to add something now. The way you talked about Tikshana and how he lost his weight, that shows how much of a cricket fan you are. I mean, not even more. I don't think many of the Sri Lankans even are aware of how much he lost his weight and all those things. And this coming from someone like you, it's like it shows how much how much you love the game. That's wonderful to see as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
Uh, and continuing from that, if I may ask, who do you think is the best player at the moment in the Sri Lankan team?
Oh, that's a tough question, eh? It's a very tough question. I don't think there's a lot of performance to pinpoint one guy. Who can it be? I don't know. It's a tough question because you don't have much good. You know what I mean? I mean, not in the sense, not good players. With all due respect, they're all excellent players. But
With this young lot of players, young set of
you know
players.
who's stuck to my tongue is, I think, Angelo Matthew. Who I still feel, yes, I know people say he's unfit or he's lost a lot of weight as well. But for some reason, my tongue says Angelo Matthew, so I think I'll have to go with Angelo Matthew. Whether he's in form or not, that's a question. Why is he not there is a question, but I definitely think Angelo Matthew can definitely play a part in this in this team. But yeah, Angelo Matthew, I think so. Kushal Pereira, maybe. I think so. It's hard for me to pinpoint really someone. I mean, in the India series, you had a good Hasaranga, probably. Yes, he must be the best one. Yeah, he's definitely him and Chamira has really changed his team. Finally, I think you feel that you have potential winners who can single-handedly win you matches. Hasaranga, he slipped my mind. So I think I'll put.
I was waiting for that answer. I was waiting for it.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot about him. Hasaranga definitely by far. Hasaranga, yes.
Alawi, now, as you all know, the IPL is coming to the desert. You must be looking forward to that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the IPL is a different league, to be honest. I think it's, I don't play the game anymore. So I think cricketers are more excited than me because they get all the money there. But let alone the IPL, it's good. It's good. I don't watch it much because, again, I'm very passionate with Sri Lanka. So there's not a lot of Sri Lankan players. So you get tired watching the same game. It's very repetitive. So to be honest, I don't watch the IPL much. There's no Sri Lankan cricketers there, and I can say it, yes, without being shy. And that's the reason why I don't watch much. So I do hear Hasaranga will be playing one or two teams. He might play. One of the teams are interested with him. I definitely think there need to be more Sri Lankans playing the game, and that's one of the main reasons why I think the Sri Lankan cricket is going down, because you got all these countries playing these lovely leagues, sharing experience with international cricketers. I don't know. I can't see the reason why some Sri Lankan players are not playing the league. So I'm not too excited, to be honest, with the IPL. I'm watching for the South African series and then the World Cup as well, just to see how Sri Lanka goes.
Right, now, Valo, just to follow up on that, now you mentioned the IPL and also Wanidhu Hasaranga. Now, there's a lot of talk about Wanidhu Hasaranga joining one of the IPL teams. We don't know what that team. And the other day, Wanidhu in an interview said that it is one of his dreams to be playing IPL. However, now you are a Sri Lankan fan living in the UAE.
Yes.
Now, a lot of Sri Lankan fans who are here, they don't really like him going to the IPL because they believe that people might pick up his variations, that beautiful googly and all that. So as a Sri Lankan fan, as someone who's supporting Sri Lanka cricket from a very young age, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I think he needs to go. I think he needs to open the gates for Sri Lankan cricketers, if you know what I mean. I think if I talk cricket-wise, I don't put my fan hat here. Listen, if a guy plays the IPA and the IPL it's not going to be in the sense that the whole world will know what he is. Eventually, the world will pick his googly, will pick his leg spinner. It's not that if he plays this IPL series, everything will show. Yes, the World Cup is coming. It might be not the best time, but he definitely needs to play. Gain more experience. The more you play as a cricketer, the better you get. And he needs to show, the Sri Lankan colours, the player in this IPL league, open doors for others. Similarly to Afghanistan, when Nabi played one match, then you start to get this influx of 3-4 Afghani cricketers playing. So as not as a fan, as a cricketer, I'm excited to see Hasaranga in this league, and I hope, because if he plays, I definitely think he will play a big role if he's in that 11, whichever team he plays for.
the other thing is, I think we know that Murali visited your house and then you treated him with dinner. So
Yes.
can I know what was Murali's favorite food there? What did you treat him with?
So we didn't have only Murli, we had the whole team. So when they used to come for Sharjah, we live in Dubai. I think 4 or 5 series. At that time Sharjah, I think in a year you had 2-3 series. Um, so we always invited them either after the final or just before the final. Sri Lanka was so good that they used to qualify for the finals always. So we used to invite them in. So it was the whole players. I was a young chap there, so I wouldn't be able to answer you what was his best meal. He will be the best one to answer you. I was 9, 10. It was like it was Christmas for me that you have all the players. At that time, Dave Watmore was the coach. So he used to come, and Alex Konturi used to be the physio. Dharmasena was there. He was a player. So we're talking about long time. Opul Chandana was there. So it was a very long time.
All right. Now one more. You mentioned Murali and several other players. Murali's coach coached you,
Yes.
and we hear that you yourself and your father have also got a bit of a connection to Kandy. Can you talk us to that?
Yes, indeed. Again, it was my young days. So at that time, Murali, our father, obviously visiting. My father got a bond with Murali in the end, and with the other Sri Lankan players as well, and did a few businesses there in the early stages. And I think Murali always had that dream that he wanted to initiate a stadium there. At that time, there was Asigaria, your college ground there. They wanted an international stadium there. So Pale Kali somehow came, and I think my father initiated that stadium to be built, and then he came out at an early stage. But it resembles Centurion, as you guys know, I'm sure, because my father got the guys from South Africa there who did the Centurion Stadium, and hence that's a small connection of how the start of this ground, Palikani.
Okay, and so you played the debut in 2008, and then
Yes.
you thought that you moved away from cricket.
Yes.
So after you moved away from it, what did you do? Did you start a professional career, or
Yes.
did you?
Yeah. So in UAE at that time, as I said, 2008, cricket was not a future. And you coming from a UAE national background or heritage, you always, you have these what you call it, responsibilities. You've got to be a business chap. You've got to be a doctor, an engineer, X, Y, Z. And cricket is not football. So yeah, after that, I think 9-10 months, uni started. I had to join university. It was hard to do studies and cricket at the same time. So I had to concentrate on my studies, continue that till where I am today now. I run an investment group today now in the UAE. Very proud of it. I've got I think around 400 employees under me. So yeah, it's a different thing, but you still got that kid in you that still watches the Sri Lankan games when it comes out. You see, you turn into a small child.
All right. Finally, Alawi, now you said when you made your debut back in 2008, in terms of professionalism, UAE cricket was not quite there. Now, from 2008, we are in 2021.
Yes.
How has UAE cricket changed from there to now?
Oh yes, it's changed greatly. I'm not the right person again to answer this. When I did the game, I was someone called me the rebel. I remember to that extent, because I went against the whole board, and I think I put them a bit nervous on their chair. I don't want to turn this lovely topic into a political topic, so we leave that out. But the professionalism, it has definitely become professional. The guys who played now, I'll just give you an example. We had a first-class game against Holland. At that time, it was called the Intercontinental Cup, ICC Intercontinental Cup, where the best associate nations would play. you have a lovely chap, Sri Lankan, who was with me again. Because he was Sri Lankan, he happened to be my roommate. I pulled him with me. He's called Shadeep Silva. Very lovely. He's now staying at Hikkaduwa. He's a left-arm spinner. He's a coach now. I think he went back because he lost his job with Emirates Airlines. Me and him and another chap called Arshad, who was the former captain, we had to take a cab, or I had to drive. I remember in the traffic, and we had like 30 minutes before the toss. So where would you get that? That's how low our our professionalism was. Now it is, we've got contracts, our players are fit, different. You've got our own leagues, you've got the T10 league that your guys came in. We've got our T20 league. So it's a completely different thing. It's good for the guys now. It's become professional, semi-professional, so to say.
Okay, and I have two more questions as well.
Sure.
Who's your all-time favorite Sri Lankan cricketer and why?
Oh yeah, whole time would be for sure. There was just one guy from Sanat Jayasuriya. I was as a left-hander, but I don't think because I was a left-hander. But Sanat, I think you don't get a cricketer like that. Not in our generation. I'm sure I'll never see someone. Probably in my afterlife there'll be somebody else coming. But I think that answers you. Sanat single-handedly. I remember when he used to come to bat. You would only see these statistics pick up. 70% he scores a 50, he wins. 80% he scores a 50, he wins. Let alone his bowling, let alone his fielding. So Sanat, hands down.
Okay, and the other thing, this is a fun thing. We know you love Sri Lanka cricket from small days. You have been following them. Can you speak Sinhala? And what are the words that you got? Not even a single word?
I can speak a few words, but I wouldn't want to say it in this.
So I think your Sinhalese friends might have taught you all those beautiful words.
Yes. I think the cricket terms is the only things I know. So they made sure I know those words because I played for a few years here with the Sri Lankan club as well. So you had to know it. Yes.
That's what we do to our English friends and other friends as well. We tell them all the nice words.
Yes, I don't think my second mother will be very happy with that. She will be listening to this, but definitely yes, not much.
So we have come to the close, and
thank you.
Yeah, we thank Alawi for joining with us.
No, thank you. It was lovely, and
it was a wonderful conversation as well with you.
And I just feel so before I shut for all your Sri Lankan fans, because as a non-Sri Lankan, I see all these Sri Lankan fans getting upset. I feel they should hold back because they shouldn't forget the beauty of Sri Lanka. I don't want to see another country here. So we'll create some war zones with the comments. The beauty of Sri Lanka is always they used to respect the players, you see. You'd come out and losing a series, no one would burn a house. So, a guy would walk around. I remember we walked a lot in Colombo with Murali and Sangha. No one would run up and get a signature, What I'm trying to pinpoint here is, yes, the team is not doing good. Yes, the team is doing bad for many years. But deep down inside, no one will never support. Look at me, I'm a non-Sri Lankan, I still watch day in and day out. I've got 2 kids, I've got 8 companies. I still watch the game. You can never leave it. So there's no point on butchering the guys, especially if everyone is upset with the performance. But a big nation such as Sri Lanka, with I think you guys are over 20 million now, the time will come. The rise will come. The sun will rise, and Sri Lanka will rise 100%. I've got guys teasing me day in day out as jokes. My Paki friends and my Indian friends. I had the best time when Sri Lanka used to win. So the time will come where they will win. I just think patience are there. They definitely need to get the right guys in order, but the win will come. The win will come.
This is just brilliant from a non-Sri Lankan. Coming from a non-Sri Lankan, I think this is a brilliant advice to all the fans out there who's frustrated at the moment. Just to believe in 100%. Them and how you have reacted to this.
Yes. So it should come, definitely.